Welcome to The Exceptional Effect. I'm your host, Amber D. Each week, you'll learn a new lesson on how you can be the exception in your life and business. Thanks for joining me. Let's get started. Hi, guys, and welcome back to this week's podcast with me, your host, Amber D. So, this week I had the pleasure of interviewing Alisha from the Alisha Nicole. Honestly, I love this girl. She knows her stuff. We talked about so much, and you guys will learn so much from her when you're talking about your business and even some life stuff. So, without me continuing to ramble on about how great she is, let's get to it. Alisha Nicole today. Thank you so much again for being on with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Amber, for having me.
No problem. So tell me, who are you and kind of a little bit more about your business and how you got started?
Yeah, so hey you guys, I'm Alisha, middle name Nicole, of thealicianicole.com. So I've called myself a clarity coach, and also the author of the book called The Blogpreneur. And what I really do is I help creative women, specifically, just kind of declutter all of their ideas and figure out exactly what piece they should be focusing on and also what piece they should be monetizing as well. So I know as creatives, we have a billion and one different ideas, but we kind of have a problem figuring out, what do I really love to do, and if I can make this a business, or if I should pursue, what's currently popular right now and try to make money from that. So I'm really big on helping you get clear on what you as a person want to do, what you're passionate about, what you feel called to, and then also giving you like a step-by-step plan of how to turn that into a solid brand, and also how to make money from it as well. And I also wrote a little book called The Blogpreneur almost a year ago, which is basically kind of like the step-by-step of how to turn your blog into a profitable business. So it's exactly what I did to turn the Alisha Nicole from a super random blog where I talked about my trips to Target and my relationships and my favorite song and how I just made it really strategic and turned it into what now is a full-on business. So that's a little bit me.
That is awesome. So
Thank you.
can someone come to you if they have a business idea, or let's say, for example, I'm someone that possibly wants to come to you. I know that I want to leave my 9 to 5 because it sucks, and I know it's more for me in my life, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do. I mean, I love painting, I love helping people, I love decorating, and that's when I will call you. Are you that person that will kind of help me figure out what it is I want to do?
Yes, so I love working with people who are like fresh, starting from the beginning. Of course, I do have some clients who, are probably a little bit more well seasoned and already know what they want to do. But I really do love working with people who are like, I want to do these 10 things. I need to figure out which one is even worth it. And I take them kind of through an exercise that I do called finding your sweet spot. Which is basically just a compilation of, what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and how you can use that to attract the people that you want to work with. So that's kind of how we like narrow down exactly what you should be focusing on. So definitely, yeah, if you're just starting out and you're like, oh my gosh, I know I need to like do something on my own. I feel like should be doing more with my life than what I'm doing now. Then yeah, definitely, I would love to work with you.
That's awesome. So how long is that process? Does it depend on me, or do you?
So right now, the way my sessions are set up, so it's 60 to 90-minute calls that we do. But starting in December, I'm going to actually revamp some of my coaching sessions to make it a little bit longer. So I want to be able to, help you throughout your entire journey, all the way up to creating like your first service or like your first digital product as well. So I'm definitely working towards expanding my services or making them a little bit longer, my packages longer, so that I can really focus more on your specific needs instead of just putting everything into the 6 sessions.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you have a real passion for kind of helping
those creative entrepreneurs, even like myself, because I always have a ton of ideas. I think that's
Yeah.
kind of also, it's everybody, but definitely the millennials, right? We're just like,
Right.
oh, do this and this and this.
Right.
So like, how did you get started? How did you find your way to doing this?
So, what I've learned most people don't know about me is that my very first business was actually a jewelry business, like a online shop. So, just randomly started out creating and selling my jewelry online, and I honestly had no clue what I was doing. So, like, this was like my first business, and like I know for a fact it sucked when I first got started. And I started the Alisha Nicole just simply as a way for me to just vent because I didn't have any friends who owned their own business. I really didn't know much about the online business world at the time. So I was like, I just need somebody to talk to. I just need to like rant and get my emotions and thoughts out. So I started the Alisha Nicole just simply as just a place to talk. Um, so I would share like super random things. I said like my trips to Target and music, but I will also share like bits and pieces of my journey, like running my online shop. And I noticed, the more I started to learn about, growing a business, and actually after that first business failed, and I kind of talked about that journey, I noticed more people were, asking me on the blog, like, oh, how do I get started, selling my own handmade jewelry, or how do I get this e-commerce shop started, or, how do I, start this business when, I still have a full-time job. And that was definitely the position I was in. So the more I began learning and actually revamping my e-commerce shop, I started sharing more and more tips about that on my blog. And they got to a point to where I was getting so many questions about running a business. I was like, wait, I would love to answer everybody's questions, but like I have to make it worth my time. I have to make it, worth my while.
Right.
So I launched my very first coaching package. And I know you guys can't see me, but I'm doing like air quotes. Coaching package. It was for an hour coaching session for $35.
What?
Yes, $35. Needless to say, I've definitely learned from that experience too.
Yes.
But that's just kind of how like the whole Alisha Nicole brand started. So I like completely revamped the brand and everything and made it more focused towards creative entrepreneurs who, had a passion, had a skill, but they just weren't sure exactly how to turn it into an actual business.
Gotcha. I love that. I
Thank
love that.
you.
I wish you were around when I was first starting, because
Yeah.
I kind of think that we all are those who think like, okay, I can do this, because you read it online and
Mhm.
on blog posts, or you hear people talking about it, maybe on podcasts or wherever. And it makes it seem like it's so easy, right?
Yeah.
Like, we need people like you. We need people like me to, I wish I would have known someone like you when I first
Yeah.
started, because it would have made it a lot easier. I could have
Yeah.
progressed in business a lot quicker, right?
Yeah.
But I
And it
think,
also helps too to just have somebody to talk to. Like just somebody else who like understands what it is that
yeah,
you're going through. Yeah, it definitely helps to have that person.
I agree. I think
Mhm.
definitely having a connection or some type of community, or even like you said, just that one-on-one to bounce ideas off of, because
Mhm.
even though it may sound awesome to you, it may not
Mhm.
be the best idea, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, you really like making dog crayons, but you know they may need to come to you so you can say, well, that's probably not the best idea.
Yeah, right.
And so what's like your favorite part about what you do?
So I definitely like being able to provide creatives with the resources that I wish I would have had. So kind of like what we were just talking about, things that I wish I would have known, like resources, classes, even little worksheets that I wish I would have had when I first started my business. So that's definitely one of my favorite parts. And I also like that moment when I first start working with a client and they have like that big aha moment. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is what I should be doing. I can't believe, I've been like ignoring this thing for this time when I could have been focusing on, how to turn this particular thing that I love into a brand. So I love that aha moment. And I love that moment when my clients realize that turning their dream into an actual business is possible.
Yeah.
I love that moment when they, it's kind of like that little boost in confidence that they get. Like, okay, I actually can do this. So
Yeah.
I love those little moments like that. It makes me feel like what I'm doing is definitely worthwhile.
Right. Right. Exactly. I agree with you on that. I love
Mhm.
that part too. Like when the client starts putting it together, like, oh, okay, now all of this makes sense. I think that is
Mhm.
awesome because now it kind of shifts from like being a business model, but you're actually helping someone in their life. Like this is
Yeah.
going to change their life, and that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And that's all I want to do. I just want to change people's lives. Like, even if that's just simply just telling you, hey girl, you can do this. Like,
Yeah.
you don't even have to pay me. If I know even just one of my free blog posts, webinars, something, change something in your life, then my job is done.
Right.
That's really all I want to do.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
So, what's one thing you wish you would have done differently in starting this business? It sounds like it's great right now, but in the beginning, you kind of struggled a little bit, especially with the jewelry business. So, like,
Yeah.
what's something you wish you would have done differently?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I definitely sucked in the beginning. Um, but I wish I would have not hesitated to promote myself. Like, so I really had, like, even now it kind of creeps in. Like, I had like a big problem with promoting myself because I didn't want people to think that I was being selfish or I thought too high and mighty of myself or I was just trying to be salesy. So that really held me back from putting myself out there. And even in the Alisha Nicole, like it merely made me struggle when I first started as well. So I really wish I would have just been like, you know what, I'm gonna put this out there. I'm gonna keep, consistently putting myself out there and see where it leads me. I think I definitely would have progressed a lot faster in both of my businesses if I wouldn't have let that fear of self promotion stop me.
Mm-hmm.
And I also wish I would have just known the simple power of being consistent. I would create, a couple blog posts and I'd disappear for a while, or I would even start promoting myself and then I would just stop for like a full month. And then once my sale was over, I'd be wondering, oh my gosh, why didn't I get any sales? Well, that's because you weren't consistent with telling people about it.
Right.
So I definitely wish I would have known just the power behind being consistent and not getting too hype over wanting immediate results,
Mm-hmm.
because you can be consistent for a while and not see anything, but you're going to eventually get to that big bang moment where it's like, oh gosh, all my work is paid off. So
Right.
I wish I wouldn't have let that lack of immediate results kind of hold me back too.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
that is also a lot of things that hold a lot of people back. Like,
Mhm.
okay, everybody's talking about being consistent. I should keep
Mhm.
posting or whatever I'm doing, I should stay at it. And like you
Mhm.
said, after a month, nothing's happening. I'm not making any income or
Mhm.
I'm not getting any feedback. What am I doing? I should just go back to my 9 to 5. Like, what do you
Mhm.
tell someone like that? Like if you're in those clarity coaching sessions
Mhm.
and someone's telling you, hey, you told me to keep going, but nothing's working. Like what would you tell someone like that?
I would tell them first to kind of reevaluate what they're doing. So if you're doing the same thing over and over again and it's not working, maybe it's not the consistency, maybe it's just how you're going about it. So if you, just for example, if you're constantly promoting yourself on Facebook and your audience isn't even on Facebook, then you being consistent is still going to be pointless over there. You need to try out different platforms and see how you can reach your audience. And then I will also say too, to look at that small growth. So even though you may not have hit that $5,000 income goal that you hit one month, did you still make some type of income? Can you be appreciative of what you did receive instead of just focusing on not hitting that goal?
Right.
Because if your goal was to hit $5,000 and you made 3,500, girl, you still made more than most people starting out. So
Right. That's awesome, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
you still did pretty good. So not
Mhm.
don't just focus on like that end goal if you didn't hit it.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely just reevaluate where you are. And then you just gotta have faith. Like have faith in yourself that you know what you're talking about, that you're reaching the same people. And a lot of times I've learned too with like those immediate results, just because someone isn't on the ground praising you every single day for what you're putting out doesn't mean someone isn't watching,
Right.
doesn't mean someone isn't getting something from you that they really needed. So you kind of have to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I think I identified with that when I first started out. Like, I
Mhm.
kind of wasn't getting any feedback, but I'm just
Mhm.
posting and posting and posting.
Mhm.
And you just kind of feel like, okay, is anybody out there? But
Yeah.
like you said, over time, people lurk, right? I lurk in some
Mhm.
Facebook groups. I may not say anything, but I
Exactly.
may love your stuff. I think your stuff is awesome. And after time, people will start showing up. Like, I have people will email me or send me
Mhm.
a DM through Instagram, or even a message, a comment on Instagram. Like, I love your
Mhm.
stuff. Keep it up. And you're like, that type of info, that feedback keeps you kind of
Mhm.
going. But it's hard to
Exactly.
see in the beginning. Like you said,
Yeah.
you never know who you're helping.
Exactly. Exactly. And I promise you, even I feel some that way sometimes too. It's like, oh my gosh, like I'm just so tired. And like I don't feel like no one's listened. And then I'll get like a little sweet email saying, you know what, that email really, resonated with me, or like I really needed to be on that webinar today. Like little things like that. It just makes you appreciative for what you do and the people who are watching. So
Yeah.
focus on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you feel that you get a lot of your audience or your clients from doing um, live video when you're doing like or live
Mhm.
streaming, whether you're doing a webinar or
Mhm.
maybe you're doing a Facebook Live? I'm not quite sure exactly where
Yeah.
where you are, but do you feel like you get a better connection being more face to face with your audience as opposed to like your blog post?
Yeah, I do now. And I feel like I've been in this blogging world for a while now, so I've definitely noticed a shift.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first started, it was definitely more so through blogging. But now that, live video is being introduced and things like that, I do feel like I have to have like that. They have to be able to put a name to a face, which is one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel too. So yeah, I definitely think now, doing, especially during webinars for me, and people are able to actually hear me, they can interact with me, I can answer questions for them like in real time. I definitely think lately, as of probably the past year or so, has helped me to build my audience more through video than just blog posts. I definitely still think blog posts are necessary because you still want to drive traffic back to your site. But as far as like audience building and kind of like expanding your brand, video I feel like is definitely where it's at right now.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree. I completely
Yeah.
agree. So, what's one myth about kind of what you do or about your business that people may
Mhm.
have, like that maybe you have heard or someone has
Mhm.
said something to you that you want to kind of say that's not true?
Yeah, well, I have two.
Okay.
So the first one would be that you really don't need a coach. And while I think that you should only invest in a coach when you are dead set and serious about growing your brand, I don't think it's something you should do just off of a random idea. I definitely think that having that 101 guidance from someone who has been where you are or is currently where you want to be is absolutely necessary. You can Google all day, you can read blog posts all day, but there's really nothing like that advice or guidance that's tailored to your specific needs. Because you could get on Google and find 10 articles on how to grow your brand, but it may not be for you, or it may not be for your specific industry, or maybe the certain level that you're at. I know when I first started the Alisha Nicole, I was finding articles that were more based towards like CEOs and big corporate companies.
Mm-hmm.
And I really needed, even though the information was helpful, it wasn't specifically for the industry that I was in. So definitely hiring a coach, I don't think is something that you can just, maybe one day type of thing. I really think if you're ready to get serious about your brand, no matter what industry you're in, a coach is definitely going to help you. Let me take that. A good coach
Yes.
it's
Good
going
coach.
to help you take that brand to the next level, and also to just simply help you gain some clarity so that you can continue growing on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is that you can't create physical products as a service-based entrepreneur or an online entrepreneur who doesn't necessarily, sell jewelry or sell clothing or, handmade goods. Because I sell info products that are in physical form. So that's another myth I've been hearing lately. So you don't have to be stuck to a computer all day if you don't want to. If you want to get out and create a physical product that your audience needs, you definitely can. It's definitely profitable as well.
Right, right. I love those. I hear
Thank
those.
you.
I love both of those. I hear, like I said, I hear those myths all the time, and I
Mm-hmm.
110% agree. Did you hire someone as well with yourself? Like, did you hire someone like you, a business coach, or like you said,
Mm-hmm.
someone that was where you wanted to be? Did you hire them yourself when you got
Yeah. So I had a coach maybe going on 2 years now, to help me as I was like transitioning into wanting to put my services or take my services more seriously. And I'm actually looking too for 2017 to hire someone who can help me to um, book public speaking gigs and to kind of position myself more as like a speaker and an author. So I'm definitely looking for someone for 2017 too. So even coaches need coaches. Even as you progress, I wouldn't necessarily look for a coach who specializes in helping creative start businesses like I do, but I definitely, for certain areas that I want to expand my brand on, like public speaking, I definitely think that's something that's worth investing the money into.
I agree with that as well.
Mhm.
I think that's something to always look for in your coaching. Like, did
Mhm.
that person have coaching themselves? Because
Mhm.
we all have things that we need to work on. We aren't
Mhm.
all perfect. We all, like I read one article about Tiger Woods and
Mhm.
him being this great golfer and all these things that he's done, and he even had a coach to teach him
Yeah.
more strategies for his swinging, like I think something like that. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
all about golf, but he
Yeah.
had someone to coach him there, and like you think like, wow, but Tiger Woods knows everything. And I think that just kind of puts it in perspective, like, no, we
Mhm.
don't. We all need someone
Exactly.
to help us grow and be better. So
Right.
that's
Even Beyonce has a vocal coach.
right, right.
And she's Beyonce. Look, if she need a coach, I need a coach. No, if she needs a coach, I need at least 5 coaches.
Right. One on call every day. Look, okay,
Right.
what should I do today? No.
Right. Like if you want to stay at like a great level and if you want to expand beyond that level, like you need help. You can't just be stagnant. I think that's where a lot of people like run into a rut of just staying stagnant is because even if not investing in a coach, just investing in like different knowledge and different skills and tools that you need to take your brand to the next level. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, eventually people are going to stop investing in you.
That's great.
So
I love that. I mean, I absolutely love that because it's
yeah.
so true. You have
Mhm.
people, excuse me, I've been kind of dealing with that this week. A lot of people have
Mhm.
been posting on my Instagram. Like, Instagram is kind of like a big platform.
Mhm.
And a lot of people have been saying about investing in yourself, and you have those people that kind of don't want to invest in
Mhm.
themselves, where they want to get your information for free or pick your brain
Mhm.
per se,
Yeah.
and of course, right, people can't see me, but I'm doing my quotations, pick
Right.
your brain, right, for free. But all of that is investing in yourself. And if you are really serious about your business, then you'll figure out a way. Like, maybe I can't afford you at this time, but it's something that we can do a trade-off. Like, hey,
Mhm.
I need someone to transcribe my podcast. Then, like, what's the
Mhm.
even trade-off, but understanding that this is a business.
Right.
And that, if you're serious about yourself, you need to invest in yourself.
Exactly. And I have to talk to people about that all the time as well. It's like, okay, yeah, coaching services typically aren't going to be uber super cheap. That's because you're using someone's time. They have to get paid for that time and also the knowledge. And if you're not ready, like figure out what areas in your personal life you can cut back on in order to invest. That $200 cable may not be necessary when you look at it like that, or those 3 pairs of shoes you bought at Dillard's because they were on sale or on Black Friday may not be necessary. That could have been money that you put towards expanding your brand. And I definitely don't want anyone to don't pay their rent or, take their child out of daycare. But, just think about the different areas of your business, um, or areas of your personal life that you can cut back on in order to reinvest in your business. And even that sometimes comes in the form of your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So don't be so quick to run out of it, when you can be putting that money into growing your brand behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mhm.
agree. I agree. Give me 3 things, or maybe not even 3 things, just like some of your most important tips that the audience can take from you today, that
Mhm.
maybe they're starting their business, they're kind of confused about what they want to do. They know they want to start, but they're not
Mhm.
really sure, or maybe they have started and kind of, ugh, I don't really know what I should be doing, or I feel like I'm starting and I'm all over the board, I'm not getting any sales. Like, what do you think, what's some things that they can take away today,
Mhm.
maybe like some actionable steps that they can do, to kind of start to help them get to where they need to be?
Yeah, so the first thing I would definitely say is to really, really focus on creating great content for your audience. Especially if you're just starting out, honey, you got to prove yourself. You have to prove yourself before people will start paying you. So definitely create best content possible. So blog posts, definitely get into email marketing and creating like either weekly or bi-weekly newsletters that are full content and not just you selling yourself. Get active on social media instead of just posting your own links. Share some links of people that you admire. Get in these Facebook groups and just interact and talk to people. So definitely put a lot of your focus into creating just simple, great content that people can learn something from and take something back to apply into their own situations. The next thing I would say would be to don't be afraid of self-promotion. So all that great content that you create is going to be pointless if you don't share it.
Yeah.
So definitely don't be afraid to promote yourself. So create graphics around your content, or create great graphics around your content. Schedule out your posts on social media. Don't be afraid to include your own links into your newsletter. Like, just simply don't be afraid to tell people what it is that you do, because if you want to sell, if you want to up level your brand, you have to promote yourself.
Yeah.
And once you do, begin promoting yourself and promoting others as well, people will start promoting you too. So, and the word will get around. The online world is not as big as it seems.
No, it isn't.
um, and then the last thing I would just say, especially if you are starting out or if you feel like you have taken a shift in your brand lately, is to do what you feel called to do. Do what's in your heart. Do that thing that's like your driving force, instead of just doing what's popular at the moment. Over the past year, I've seen so many amazing creative entrepreneurs change their complete business model just based off of what's popular at the moment.
Mhm.
And then they get frustrated when they find out that it didn't work for them as much as it may have worked for someone else.
Mhm.
So, in going back to what we were talking about, looking for those immediate results, you have to focus on what it is that you really feel called to do, because at the end of the day, when you don't see those immediate results, you really got to love what you do, man.
Right.
That's the only thing that's going to keep you going. And the only way to do that is just to focus on, I hate saying in your own lane, but I guess in this sense, because you go in however many lanes you want. But, but focus just on what you really feel passionate about, what you feel called to do. I promise you the money will come.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
those are good. I love
Thank you.
those.
Thank you.
That's gonna be under your like caption, right?
Oh, cool.
So what's some apps that you use to stay
Mhm.
productive, or just like maybe your absolute favorite apps that you feel like you cannot live without?
So, apps, definitely Google Drive.
Hmm.
I have everything stored in there. Whenever I get an idea, I just usually type it up in like a good, like Google Doc. I use the Squarespace e-commerce app, so that way I can easily track packages and track new orders from like my phone or my iPad. Um, as far as apps, it's not really an app, but I use like Buffer for social media. So that's how I'm schedule and kind of organize all of my social media. Um, and I just started using like my iCalendar just because it syncs like my phone and my laptop and my iPad. So I'm
Yeah.
together like all across the board. I will tell you, I'm not one who trusts technology, so it's really hard for me to use like online calendars and things.
Really?
Yes, girl, I have to write everything down because I do not trust technology. But I just started using iCal to like remind me about like different calls, or like remind me of like coaching calls and things like that. But outside of apps, I definitely use my Day Designer by Whitney English. Like I live by that thing, like love it.
Okay.
I use my Ultimate Monthly Business Planner, which is what I create all of my content in and plan out like content launches. I'm trying to think of, oh, and for clients, I use a site or a system called Satori. So that handles like all of my client payments, scheduling, all that type of stuff. So I definitely live by that too, as far as for my coaching clients. But that's about it, I think.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that's good. I think those are
Thank you.
some platforms or some apps that people can use
Mm-hmm.
or to even check out. So thank you for sharing
All
those.
right, no problem. Thank you.
You really seem like you have a lot going on, which is awesome. How do you balance that, like your work and your life? Your
Girl.
is that even a thing? Is balance even a
Um,
thing for you? And if so, how do you do that?
Sort of. So what I do is I really just recognize that at some point something is going to have to take a backseat. I know, and I try to prioritize things as well. So I know if I haven't seen my fiance in a few days, we haven't spent any time together, it's time for me to close my laptop and spend time with him. I also know that if I'm in the middle of launching something, or if I have like a really heavy client schedule, then I'm going to have to say no to going out. I'm going to have to say no to catching up on my TV shows. I'm going to have to let the DVR handle it. So I really don't think there is much of balance. I think it's just realizing at what point what takes priority, and then just kind of going from there.
Yeah.
And just realizing that at some point something is going to have to take a back seat. And that doesn't mean that you're neglecting it totally. It doesn't mean that you don't care about it. It just means at that moment something else needs to happen first before you can go on to relaxing, or before you can go on to starting this new project. So that's just kind of how I go about it.
Do you plan that out in the beginning of the week? Already
Mhm.
know kind of what's going to have to take the back burner, and then
Mhm.
kind of focus on the things that are your priority. Do you do that each week, or do you do that monthly, or how do you set that up?
Yeah, so just because things change so often, I definitely think about that. So like Sunday nights, I kind of plan out my week. And then each day, like in my calendar, I write out my top three. I call them must do's. So those are the things that like absolutely have to be done. So I go ahead and like plan out those things just so I can see like, okay, this needs to get done during this time, which means something is going to have to get moved or something's going to have to get rescheduled. So I definitely do that each week. I try to do it monthly, but then I realize like, okay, then what do you do when a client has to reschedule, or when the internet goes out and you have to like rearrange everything? So I try to do it week by week so that, if I do have to change something, it's not like I'm in shambles.
Right. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so to kind of just take a break from the
Mhm.
business stuff, I have a few questions for you, a little bit more than few.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm gonna put you in the hot seat. I'm
Okay.
gonna ask you like randomly 5 questions,
Mhm.
and you just give me the first answer that kind of comes to your head without having to think about it. Just go, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so you're in the hot seat.
Okay.
Uh, Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
Favorite TV show?
Oh crap. Right now it's 90 Day Fiance.
Too funny. Your go-to comfort food?
Oh gosh, French fries.
What's your favorite place in the whole world, and why?
My mama's couch, because I love binge watching TV with her.
All right, and your favorite color?
Orange.
Cool beans. So
Hmm.
let me know what do you have going on? Like, what do you have coming up for the rest of this year or
Hmm.
in 2017? What's going on?
So for December, I'm taking a bit of a step back. Still working, but not launching anything new. But I'm taking this time to just kind of like relax and kind of evaluate what I want and plan what I want for 2017. I'm definitely going to be working hard though to revamp my current coaching services. So to make them a little bit more streamlined, make them more valuable for my audience, kind of like rearrange some of my processes as well. I've been introduced to a lot of different like new systems and things this year. So I really want to take a time to kind of implement some of those into my brand. So 2000 or rest of December 2016, sorry, is definitely going to be devoted to just revamping some things and planning for the new year. So once January 1st starts, I'll have like a clear vision of what I need to be doing at least for the first quarter.
Gotcha. How can people find you or hang out with you and follow you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so my site is thealicianicole.com. I'm literally everywhere on social media. It's at the Alisha Nicole on everything. I also have my Biz Boost Facebook community as well, or it's called TAN Biz Boost. So you're welcome to join in there. So we have like daily prompts and like that's if you have any questions and want to pick my brain, that's going to be the place to do it. But yeah, everywhere else is just at the Alisha Nicole.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out to talk with me today. I
Oh, thank you.
absolutely enjoyed it.
Yay, thank you for having me. It's exciting.
No problem.